major importance to the people and the Republic of Kenya. This is not an issue, as you would want to put it, of human rights. This is an issue of society, of our own base as a culture, as a people, regardless of which community you come from. This is not acceptable. This is not agreeable. This is not about Uhuru Kenyatta saying yes or no.
Hello, welcome to our program known as Entrepreneurship and Sustainable Development. I am Nathan Tambi from Fenlina Management Consultant, the main sponsors of this program aimed at creating and promoting an entrepreneurship culture in the African society right from childhood. If you are or want to be an entrepreneur, this is the right channel for you. The objective of this presentation today, I would like to talk about how LGBTQ promotion will destroy Africa's entrepreneurship initiatives, if not handled with care, clarity, and sensitivity. At the moment, Africa as a continent seems to be having mixed feelings about the subject. That alone is a hindrance to Africa's growth and prosperity. Before I go into any detail, and finally giving my own suggestions on the way forward, let me briefly explain what I have found about sexual orientation. My suggestions are based on the facts available so far about sexual orientation. Whoever has different views or new findings, you are requested to subscribe to the channel, give it a like, and comment so that we can also share your views and opinions. What is sexual orientation? It is an enduring pattern of romantic or sexual attraction, or a combination of these, to persons of the opposite sex or gender, the same sex or gender, or to both sexes or more than one gender. These attractions are generally subsumed under heterosexuality, homosexuality, and bisexuality, while asexuality, in other words, the lack of sexual attraction to others, is sometimes identified as the fourth category. What is the background of homosexuality? Scientists do not know the exact cause of sexual orientation, but they theorize that it is caused by a complex interplay of genetic, hormonal, and environmental influences. Although no single theory on the cause of sexual orientation has yet gained widespread support, scientists favor biologically based theories. There is considerably more evidence supporting non-social biological causes of sexual orientation than social ones, especially for males. Now, if the cause of homosexuality remains unknown, is it not possible that it started in a laboratory? Is it not possible that even now, these laboratory techniques are being used to introduce or increase the population of homosexuals, especially in the regions where it never existed before? Please give your comments on this matter. These are my personal views or suspicions. I don't claim to be an authority in this field. All I'm seeking is the attention to this issue because based on reliable, latest scientific explanation. These are my personal views, subject to correction, complete refusal, or further investigation. This matter should be handled with maximum care and openness before strong punitive measures are imposed and exercised to the disadvantage of particular sections of society. And before I give my views, I need to raise some more questions and suggested answers. Is it normal to be homosexual? While some people believe that homosexual activity is unnatural, scientific research shows that homosexuality is a normal and natural variation in human sexuality and is not itself a source of negative psychological effects. There is insufficient evidence to support the use of psychological interventions to change the sexual orientation. Does homosexuality occur in other animal species? I personally watch animal videos very often. I have never seen any other animal species involved or practicing homosexuality. However, some scientists have indicated that homosexuality exists in other animal species as well. So to me, this is still a very big question in my mind. More research is required in this regard. What are the attempts to reverse the sexual orientation? In other words, how can sexual orientation be reversed? Efforts to change sexual orientation are unlikely to be successful and involve some risk of harm, contrary to the claims of the sexual orientation change efforts by practitioners and advocates. Even though the research and clinical literature demonstrate that same-sex sexual and romantic attractions, feelings, and behaviors are normal and positive variations of human sexuality, regardless of sexual orientation identity, the task force concluded that the population that undergoes sexual orientation change efforts tends to have strongly conservative religious views that lead them to seek to change their sexual orientation. Thus, the appropriate application of affirmative therapeutic interventions for those who seek sexual orientation change efforts involves therapist acceptance, support, and understanding of the clients and the facilitation of clients' active coping, social support, and identity exploration and development without imposing a specific sexual orientation identity outcome. Law, poetics, and theology. The conclusion reached by scientists who have investigated the origins of and stability of sexual orientation is that it is a human characteristic that is formed in early life and is resistant to change. Scientific evidence on the origins of homosexuality is considered relevant to the theological and social debate because it undermines suggestions that sexual orientation is a choice. Why are most religious denominations against homosexuality? They follow the scriptures. If science has not given clear reasons about the cause, it becomes very difficult not to believe in what scriptures say, let alone giving different interpretations. Above all, in many of our communities, religion is directly or indirectly part of our culture. I leave this part of the discussion to the religious leaders to come together and have one deeply informed voice regarding this matter. They must not ignore the opinions of the scientists. They must also understand that discoveries occur time and again, which obviously calls for flexibility. Why promoting homosexuality? There is sufficient evidence to suggest that some countries or individuals are using the scapegoat of violation of human rights of the minority to impose and or promote homosexuality in society. In most parts of Africa, gays and lesbians live in harmony with the rest of the population. They are known, they live happily, and are widely accepted. So there is no need, in my opinion, to promote homosexuality. What are the challenges? The biggest challenge that some communities are facing is the fact that this is being regarded as an anomaly that needs wide acceptance. So they come up with approaches that end up commercializing homosexuality, such as financing homosexuality to such an extent that even non-homosexuals end up being trapped into believing that it is normal to do so and must be practiced. Withholding aid that would assist elsewhere if commercialization of LGBTQ is not accepted by some societies. For instance, the Ugandan incident relating to the signing of the LGBTQ bill, where America is threatening to stop giving aid to Uganda if the bill is passed into law. Listen to this video clip.
The decision to impose sanctions on African countries for their stance on LGBTQ issues is a highly controversial and complex topic. On the one hand, it can be argued that sanctions are a form of pressure that can be used to promote human rights and equality for marginalized groups, including the LGBT community. On the other hand, some argue that imposing sanctions can be counterproductive, as it can lead to further polarization and resentment, especially if it is perceived as an attempt by the West to impose its values on other cultures.
That is the situation happening in Uganda currently. Financing homosexuality to such an extent that even non-homosexuals end up being trapped into believing that it is normal to do so and must be practiced. Encouraging school kids to accept homosexuality, even if they are not actually homosexual by nature. Any other punitive measures. This may result into more conflict that would not have happened in absence of LGBTQ matters. What are the likely implications? Financing homosexuality will directly or indirectly dilute the entrepreneurial abilities of our people by becoming reluctant to work and earn decent incomes. Financing homosexuality is regarded as an attack on people's culture, especially in Africa. Culture and social imperialism. The uncompromising approach that the West and European countries are currently using in dealing with homosexuality on the African continent will divide the African people due to their different social fabrics and varying opinions, skewing our continent from focus on addressing our pressing needs as Africans, such as fighting poverty, hunger, health, security, and so on. This is the situation happening in Uganda and many other African countries. Sowing divisions and enmity amongst communities where homosexuality is practiced or promoted. Gay and lesbian marriages. One of the main reasons for marriages is to multiply. As to whether the gay or lesbian couples will be able to have kids will be a miracle, similar to how Virgin Mary fell pregnant. Probably, there are already attempts to make this possible in the future through scientific innovations. If the religious fraternity does not accept such marriages, I suggest that homosexuals should have their own places of worship where they can get married and live in harmony. Having a complete family of parents and children. For the sake of having a family with parents and children, adoption of kids by same-sex married couples should be allowed. I think this is already acceptable in some of the societies, whether the couple is married or not. In conclusion, from the above information, it is clear that homosexuality is a very contentious issue and requires thorough understanding to prevent the spread or destruction of the entrepreneurship culture in Africa. We must fully understand the natural and unnatural causes, the effect of promoting and commercializing homosexuality, the impact on societies and their cultural values, the religious ideology or beliefs, the legal aspects, and the political implications of any decision relating to the LGBTQs. Let us all make our efforts to support this program of entrepreneurship and sustainable development for the benefit of the future generation, be it through plays, games, videos, financial support, and so on. All kinds of support are highly welcome. For more information about entrepreneurship and sustainable development, feel free to contact me on +2771 543 2931 or fenlina12@gmail.com. This brings us to the end of this program. Be sure to leave a comment, give the lecture a like, and subscribe to the channel for more exciting and inspiring videos. This will enable us to continuously improve our level of service, and for this I thank you for your time. May God bless you.